Thank you, Alan. You got me all choked up talking about my daughters. I'm really delighted to be here today. I want to take one quick moment. I want to thank Kate from Hip Housing for coming here. I grabbed 2 more of the calendars. My mother and daughter saw it hanging in my home, and they said, how do I get one of those? So I was really excited to see the calendar there today. But thank you for the good work you do for our community and for helping people find housing. It's so important. I also want to put out some congratulations. We have a new little citizen in San Mateo, I think 6 days old now. Our council member, Joe Goethals, had a little, well, he didn't have the daughter. His wife did all the work, but little Charlotte came into the world on Sunday, 7 pounds, I think, and 19 inches. So we're welcoming a new little citizen to our city. I'm very delighted to be here this morning. What a beautiful day. This is one of my favorite places in San Mateo, but usually because I'm out on the golf course. So it's just nice to be able to see all this. And I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to present an update on the state of the city. As many of you already know, I'm a huge advocate of economic development, have been for many years. I served on the board of the Belmont Chamber of Commerce for 6 years and as the president. And through that experience, it helped me understand the needs of our business community and the important role that they play in sustaining our communities. Business is the engine that drives everything we are able to do and provide for our community. Business creates jobs, it attracts visitors, it attracts other businesses, and it provides services that contribute to our quality of life. We wouldn't survive very long without the sales taxes generated by every business in our city, so economic development is crucial. Without businesses, there would not be the vitality and energy that makes San Mateo so special. So thank you for contributing to a strong and robust economy and to the sustainability of our great city. The night I was appointed mayor, I invited 3rd graders from St. Gregory's School to sing God Bless America. Now, I attended St. Gregory's, so I had a personal investment in having these kids come. They're just so adorable. But what I really wanted to convey was the message that those youngsters are at the heart of everything we do as a city council. And they remind us of our responsibility to ensure that these children and future generations of children get to experience and inherit a San Mateo where they can have the same quality of life that we've enjoyed. Change is necessary to thrive and foster the vitality of any community, and San Mateo did not become the wonderful place it is today without continuous change. It is the one thing that is constant and predictable. As Alan mentioned, in 1926, my grandparents arrived from Italy and settled in San Mateo. They purchased a home on Delaware Street near 5th Avenue, a home my grandmother lived in until she passed away in 2008 at the age of 103. My grandmother never learned to drive, and she didn't need to, because everything she needed was conveniently located in the downtown, and she would walk there on a regular basis. So I like to refer to her as an original transit-oriented resident. The San Mateo my grandparents lived in was very different than that of their future family. My father, Lino, was born in a growing San Mateo, where he too spent his entire life. In fact, when he was young, Sunnybrae, where I live and raised my children, was dairy farms. Someone, I think, recently told me, maybe it was Ben Toy, that there was salt works over there as well. So that was interesting. And where he built his home on the corner of Alameda and Madeira eventually, when he was young, that was Alameda de Las Pulgas was just a dirt road. The San Mateo I grew up in was very different. 19th Avenue, where Highway 92 was actually 19th Avenue, a 2-lane road. And as far as shopping, San Mateo, downtown, that was the place to go. We had big department stores. There was Levy Brothers and I. Magnin and Joseph Magnin and Judd Green. So my children, they would experience a really different growing and changing San Mateo as the advent of major shopping centers altered the pattern of life in our city and our downtown. So when my kids were teenagers, they would always go to downtown Burlingame, and I would say to them, why don't you go to San Mateo? It's so close. And they'd say, it's boring. There is nothing to do there, Mom. Well, not anymore. So thanks to the courage and vision of a past council, despite dire predictions that it would destroy our downtown and the surrounding neighborhoods, they approved the San Mateo Cinema, and in doing so, ushered in a renaissance of commerce that continues today. So you can visit our downtown any day, any time of the week, and you'll find it bustling with people, energy, and vitality. We have an exciting, re-energized downtown, and there are plans in the works to make it even better. Just as today's San Mateo is the culmination of all the decisions made by councils that have gone in the past before us, the decisions we make today will shape the future 5, 10, even 50 years from now. I really see San Mateo as the heart of the peninsula, the center the pulse. We're located at the junction of San Mateo County's main arteries, which ideally situates us to attract both business and residential development. That makes this year a year of possibilities and challenges, and I look forward to working with all of you to continue the important community conversations begun earlier this year and last year to guide our future. There are, without doubt, many questions and tough conversations to be had with our community. While we recognize the need for smart growth to keep our city sustainable and maintain essential services, we also share the very real concerns around parking, traffic, and the strain on our infrastructure. From my perspective, a pillar of any planning process must be the preservation of the heart and character of San Mateo that make it such a desirable place to live, work, and raise a family. I'm really proud that San Mateo is a city that listens and genuinely values input from our citizens and our businesses. I hope you'll take advantage of the many opportunities that are going to be coming this year to provide feedback. Before beginning my PowerPoint presentation, which is now coming next, the State of the City, I do want to thank Rebecca Zito. She's sitting right here. She's in charge of marketing and communications for the city. She worked very closely with me on putting this State of the City presentation. And I also want to thank the many city staff who contributed information. So let's get started with the show. And I hope I can see this from where I'm standing. Some of the things I'm going to cover today are the city's financial condition, the themes of the council priorities, which infrastructure, economic development, sustainability, some of the citywide projects that are ongoing, and then a little bit on what's next. In February 2014, the City Council identified 23 priorities for the staff to implement during the 2014-15 fiscal year. And they fall into those three themes: infrastructure, economic development, and sustainability. So I want to talk a little bit about addressing the recession. San Mateo was really proactive during the recession, and we adopted a financial sustainability plan to help reduce impacts of the reduced revenues. The plan provided necessary structure for the city to build a sustainable future, and it included a combination of budget strategies. There was building our reserves, annual department savings. Every department was asked to cut their budgets, and we needed to save $2 million, which we did. Employee concessions, and then passing revenues measures L and M. L was the sales tax. It's a quarter-cent that was approved by the voters in November 2009. It brings in about $5 million a year for the city, and that measure is going to go away in 2018. So we're looking at strategies right now on how do we deal with the budget once we no longer have that money available. And measure M was the hotel tax, and that stays. So today, San Mateo is in a stronger financial position, thanks in part because of our being proactive with the financial sustainability plan. But I want to stress it was really a collaborative effort, and everyone in our community played a role, from business and the homeowners associations, our citizens who helped us pass measures L and M, and to our staff who made concessions. So we can see again, I guess you can see the community members voted in measures L and M. The employees made concessions, and that was pretty big for them to contribute a higher percentage of their health and retirement benefits. And the departments reduced their operating budgets. So because of all these collaborative efforts, we're now in a position where we can begin to address our infrastructure needs, restore services, and increase staffing levels to provide higher levels of service throughout the community. I want to take a moment to acknowledge some of the leadership positions that were filled this year. First and foremost, I don't know where our city manager went. Oh, right there, Larry. Larry is a real visionary, and he has just brought such wonderful positive change to City Hall. There's a new energy. People are really excited, and he's doing a great job. And I also worry because I constantly hear people talk from other city councils how lucky we are to have Larry. So I'm always saying, you can't have him. He's here. He's staying. We also have a new Director of Public Works, Brad Underwood. I don't know if Brad is here. Oh, Brad. Okay, yes. And George White, Community Development Director. And I don't know. Okay. Both men bring substantial experience to the city. We're very fortunate to have them. One of the other things we did was add new police officers. So during the time Very important to me. Public safety has always been a priority of mine, and I was very concerned when we had vacant positions sitting there. So now we have those positions filled, and that's really great for our city moving forward. And we also filled some positions in the community development staffing, which I believe is going to help us with projects and meeting the needs of our citizens moving forward. So infrastructure and capital improvement accomplishments. We've done a lot in the past year. We completed the Bayfront levee improvements. There have been park renovations and construction projects, street improvements throughout the city, and a really cool one, the completion of Fire Station 24 at the corner of Humboldt and 4th Avenue. So we're very happy to have that done. But now we have more things we have to do. So this coming year, we've got some big projects we need to look at. The first one is removing North Shoreview and North Central from the FEMA flood map. Now, a few years ago, I live in Sunnybrae. I was part of the flood map. 8,000 homes there were. And we passed an assessment for ourselves to be able to get out of that flood zone to fund the levee projects. And so people are paying maybe $80, $85 a year extra now. But we still have 1,200 residents in the North Shoreview area who need to get out of that flood zone. And they are paying outrageous flood insurance rates right now. And, you know, part of what we also have to do is to rehabilitate our Coyote Point and Poplar pump stations. So those are improvements that have to be made. So that's a priority for the city. We're not quite sure yet where the funding is going to come for those projects. And hopefully we're going to come up with some answers this year. The other thing is the street paving program. That's one of the things I hear most often from people is complaints about the streets. The city owns and maintains 192 miles of streets and uses the pavement management program to maintain the overall network. Failed streets remain a concern. There's currently 18 miles of failed streets citywide. We put $2 million a year into this, but it really isn't enough to fix all the problems. So what we really need is about $7 million a year to get our streets, all of our streets, back up into good condition. So that's something we're looking at as well. And funding these projects, they're really critical to maintaining a healthy infrastructure. The costs are substantial. The flood control is $22 to $23.5 million, and the street paving, maybe $35 million over the next 7 years. So right now we're looking at funding options, but we are going to be hiring some consultants to help us do some community outreach. We want to poll the community and see what would be the options they'd be comfortable with in moving forward on how to pay for these critical projects. The next big project is the Master Plan Sanitary Sewers and Wastewater Treatment Plant. We're developing a capital improvement program of $900 million, to improve the sanitary sewers and the treatment plant. This will be the largest capital improvement program in San Mateo's history. The city is, and we have to do this. We must address the capacity and future growth through 2035. We're working with financial advisors to develop more accurate financial forecasts and working with partner agencies to develop cost-sharing estimates. Again, outreach is really going to be critical on this because it's going to involve sewer rate hikes, and we want people to understand why those rate hikes are going to occur. Then we have some high-profile infrastructure projects. We're pursuing the grade separation project. The city is working in collaboration with the Joint Powers Board to pursue the 25th Avenue grade separation and rail realignment projects. This includes elevation of the tracks and constructing 2 new rail crossings at 28th Avenue and 31st Avenue. The preliminary engineering phase is currently taking place, and the city is waiting for confirmation of funding from the High-Speed Rail Authority. These projects are important because they support the concepts of transit-oriented development, and they really improve the east-west flow for traffic from the new Bay Meadows development once it's fully built out. Then there's the Hillsdale pedestrian overpass. The City Council just this week had a study session with some new concepts to look at. And we're going to be, this is going to be a bridge, a pedestrian bridge that will go from one side of 101 to the other, from Hillsdale Boulevard to the other side. We're going to be doing a contest of sorts with architects, having them come to us with designs they've put together, and once we select one we think is good, we'll go out to the community, get more community input. We've already gotten community input that's gotten us this far, and then hopefully we can decide on a design. We don't have the funding for this yet, but we're hoping we can identify some funding and get there by 2017 to start this project. Another quickly is the Poplar Medium Corridor Safety Improvement Project. So what we're trying to do is actually close that exit. It's a very dangerous one from getting from Poplar off of 101 and getting from Poplar onto 101. And ideally, we will at some point have a way to get southbound on 101 from Peninsula Avenue, and also have an exit from Peninsula to get onto Peninsula, from 101 onto Peninsula. And then the final thing was Fire Station 24 getting completed. So downtown San Mateo, I want to talk a little bit about the downtown engagement process. In October, we held a Commissioner Summit and Stakeholder Forums. We had 2 evenings of that. It was really well attended. I think 50, 60 people, and included community members, homeowner representatives, people from the business community, local merchants, and the commissioners. And they talked about what was the best way to address land use and zoning opportunities and challenges facing our downtown. I'm going to talk then a little bit about the disposition of the former redevelopment properties, implementation of our parking plan, and touch on downtown safety. So I wanted to just quickly review some of the themes that came out of the Commissioner Summit and Stakeholders Forum. So it was to enhance the pedestrian experience and opportunities for beautification, explore parking, transportation, and circulation strategies, increase the amount of public gathering spaces, establish a clear and consistent vision in the downtown area plan, update, diversify land uses, and consider increased building heights and density. And we'll be having more of these discussions moving forward this year. There'll be more open forums with our community. The disposition of the redevelopment properties. This was really exciting. Our staff, when the redevelopment went away, we were very concerned about losing some of the key properties that we had purchased for redevelopment in the downtown. And we were concerned about especially losing 4th Avenue and Railroad, which is currently has our Worker Resource Center, and also parking. And then the Kinko's side at 5th and Railroad, which also is a critical parking area. The 2 lots together provide about 200 parking spaces for our downtown. So our staff worked diligently with the Finance Department in the state, and we just found out before the end of the year that the Department of Finance has given us approval to keep those properties. The beauty of this is that now, yes, and I want to thank our staff who really worked very hard on making this happen. It wouldn't have without their diligence in moving forward. The beauty is that now the city gets a say in what happens with these properties moving forward. And so we'll want to make sure that we keep critical parking, that we don't lose that. You know, there's been talk about what to do with the Kinko's side, if we want to put a new city hall there, if we're going to use it for mixed use. We haven't really decided that yet. One of the things we are doing is working with the Urban Land Institute. And they're going to come in with their professionals, take a look at both those lots, and come back to us and say, here's the way we think you can best utilize those properties, given where they are, what you are thinking you want to do. And then we'll go back to the community again and say, okay, here's all the different ideas, and let's get feedback. And hopefully we can come up with some really good decisions on how to incorporate that into a new downtown plan. Last year, in early 2014, the City Council adopted the parking plan for downtown. And so it's going to provide additional parking. One of the things we've already done for implementation is to open the main library parking and 181 Ellsworth garages for weekend evening parking. And that provides about 250 parking spaces, which is really good if you've been downtown on the weekend. We need those spaces. It's also developed a new parking map, which is available on the city website. There's going to be installation of security cameras, starting with the central garage, but ultimately in all of the garages. We've hired an interim parking manager to oversee the implementation of the parking plan. There will be some discussion about policy and code changes, such as do we need to increase the rates for parking or the time limits. And then one thing I think is really cool, we're looking at a parking app that will give people real-time information on parking, something they can put on their phones. And then I just want to say a little bit about downtown safety. Auto burglaries continue to be the primary safety concern in downtown San Mateo. San Mateo Police Department has done a wonderful job putting into place a number of security measures to address this important issue. So I want to thank our police chief and our officers for what they're doing to help reduce that. I mean, they've successfully identified and arrested several auto burglary crews as a result of their deployment of resources and proactive measures. So thank you to our police department. North B Street, I want to touch on this briefly. That was just a really successful collaboration on North B Street. We had seen that North B Street was not, it was feeling like it wasn't part of downtown San Mateo. And so with the Chamber and the Downtown Association and the city and working with those merchants, all came together to say, what can we do to make North B Street feel more like it's part of downtown San Mateo? Encourage people not to stop at Baldwin, but to actually walk down North B Street. And so out of this process, there was a lot of capital improvements that are starting. The merchants are excited. They're working on ways to improve their storefronts. We've put in some, there's new flower pots. There's banners on the street. So it's really feeling like it's part of downtown now. And so some of the measures that were used in this process, we can use for other local downtown avenues like 25th Avenue or 30th Avenue to help them get some improvements as well. So we look forward to that, and I want to thank everyone who participated in that, because that really was a collaborative and successful effort. As far as business activity, we're doing really great in San Mateo. Downtown San Mateo especially is an economic hub for a variety of business sectors, and we've maintained a low vacancy rate of 2% over the past 2 years. The most notable growth has occurred in the tech sector. Restaurants also make up a significant portion of our downtown business clientele. There are 148 restaurants within the downtown, and they represent cuisines from all over the world. So we are becoming a destination for our dining, definitely. We have new businesses, Alibaba Group, which have made San Mateo their headquarters, so that's pretty significant for us. Phil's Coffee, I've not been there yet. I have friends who are so excited that Phil's Coffee's in town, so I've got to get over there and try it. It must be great. Tomatina's is a new restaurant that opened. I've been there for dinner. It's a wonderful place. Lots of new business indicators for San Mateo. There's also been some changes of use along Railroad Avenue as developers are starting to inquire about changing old manufacturing sites for office use. So this shows there's an interest in creating additional office space in San Mateo. The former Rite Aid building, which sat empty for a really long time, is now seeing activity, and a notable bakery is going to be going in there with the offices in the back of the building. Media attention. So we're continuing to market San Mateo as a food and dining destination under the brand San Mateo Best Food. In December, we had a feature article in Food Traveler magazine featuring a variety of our local downtown chefs. Early next week, San Mateo will be featured on KQED Morning Edition and in a blog featuring San Mateo's recent growth and the characteristics that make our community a dynamic place to live, work, and play. This is part of KQED's recent series, Boomtown, which highlights the opportunities and challenges of the recent growth occurring throughout the Bay Area and the way communities are addressing it. I want to touch briefly on some of the development activity. San Mateo is really experiencing a remarkable rebound of the development market. New homes are being built, our transit-oriented development plan is being implemented, and there is interest and movement in constructing new office buildings. This activity is occurring citywide and attracting new residences, businesses, and employees into our downtown office areas and along the rail corridor. So we have Bay Meadows. There's more activity right now going on there. Construction and occupancy of townhomes is underway. There's also Station Park Green. This is one project I'm especially proud of. I was on the Planning Commission when we approved this. It's actually in my neighborhood. I'm really looking forward to it coming in. I think it's going to bring great energy. I'm looking forward to being able to walk nearby, maybe a 2-minute walk to get coffee and visit some of the shops that are going to come in there. And I also think, I want to just make a comment about transit-oriented development, because I always hear people say, you know, people aren't going to get out of their cars. They're just not going to do it, and it's not going to work. But for the right people, transit-oriented development is perfect. Both of my daughters are professional women. One works at Visa, the other at Stanford University. My daughter who works at Visa lives in Mountain View, and you could not get her in her car to drive to Visa every day if her life depended on it, practically. Originally she took the train, now she takes one of the commuter buses, and she just loves it. She doesn't want to spend the money on gas. She doesn't want to sit in the traffic. And if she has to be in traffic, she'd rather be doing it where she can be doing some work or reading a book or enjoying some leisure time. So I think it does work. It's a change in the paradigm for people. My generation, we're so used to being in our cars, we can't imagine using public transportation. But I think what I'm seeing in younger people, they really care about the environment. They don't want to be in their cars all the time. And if we give them an opportunity to live someplace where they can easily access transportation, they will take it. Let's see. Oh, the lots on 3rd and El Camino. 3 of those corners have had vacant lots for a long time that have been real eyesores, so I'm really excited. We have some potential developments going in on all 3 of those corners right now. And we've even gotten a pre-application for one of them, so you'll be hearing more about that in the future. There was a little bit of movement on the Hines project, but right now they're kind of in a holding pattern. That's at the corner of Concar and Delaware. Then we finished 888 San Mateo Drive. That was completed in mid-2014. That's right near the border of Burlingame, and that brought 150 apartment units into our city. And then Hillsdale Shopping Center is going through some big changes. I think they're going to be exciting. Their plans include partial demolition and remodel of existing structures, addition of a new outdoor plaza surrounded by new shops, restaurants, and entertainment venues, including a luxury cinema, and reconfiguration of the landscape improvements to the parking areas. So their plans are already in. If you're interested in that, you can go on our website to get more information about what they're doing. I don't know how I'm doing on time here. Am I doing okay? So we'll just touch quickly on sustainability
You're
highlights.
doing great.
Okay, great.
We have time for questions.
At the direction of the City Council last year, we formed a Sustainability Commission because sustainability is very important to our council and to our city. And it involves more, it's about economic development. It's about a safe community. It's about finding ways to keep the quality of life and protect our environment at the same time. So one of the first directives given to the Sustainability Commission was to develop the Climate Action Plan. That was a huge undertaking. I thank every member of that Sustainability Commission. We just got the initial draft this past week, and it was almost 500 pages. So a lot of work went into that. Part of that Climate Action Plan was to meet a state mandate that communities reduce their greenhouse gas emissions 15% over their 2005 levels by the year 2020. So our plan, at minimum, we'll reduce it by 15.5, and we even have the opportunity to do it up to 18% if we follow some of the measures that were in this plan, all of which are easy for us to achieve. The Sustainable Streets Plan, that was finished, and that provides a vision for how San Mateo streets will look into the future, and it also ties in to our sustainability initiatives. And then finally, the grant from the California Energy Commission, we just received that, and that's going to allow us to finish retrofitting the remaining 5,300 city street lights with LED fixtures and conversion of our high voltage street lights to standard circuit configuration. The great thing about this, it's going to save the city approximately $269,000 a year in utility expenses. So we're very excited about that. Just a quick comment now on the Central Park Master Plan. Last year we started a process to look at updating the plan. The last time that was done was in 1982. Central Park's really dear to me. I spent a lot of time there as a child. I was telling a group last night, there's a swing set there that I think when I was about 5, I fell off of. It's still there, and I can't imagine it's still there, but it has survived. So it's time for an update. We want to find some of the things that came out. We went out to the community, had a number of stakeholder meetings. We hired a design group to assist us with this. And you'll see up here some of the main elements that came forward that people thought we should incorporate into any plan. And so last week, this group came forward with 3 different designs. And I think we're going to show, one has a community center option, one has enhanced open space, and another community gathering option. And I know Jack will join me on this. We like the one with the plaza. We're looking, hopefully. Well, I mean, for me at least, we've been talking about a plaza in downtown. I think whatever plan we go with, they're all wonderful. A plaza would be a wonderful thing for our community to have close to the downtown. So what I would like to do is encourage everybody to give feedback. We will be holding more forums asking for your feedback, but right now you can also go on our town hall and give us your feedback. Take a look at the different plans and let us know what you think. That's really important for us moving forward, because this is our plan for our park, and it's such a valuable asset in our community. We want to do it right. So with that, I think I want to just mention a little bit about the council selection process. You all know that Councilmember Ross stepped down, and we are now looking for a successor to fill his seat until November when the next election comes up. And so on Monday night, we will be interviewing potential candidates to be the successor, and we will actually select somebody that evening. We have 6 really strong candidates. It's an open process, so you may want, I don't know, that's going to be televised? It will be televised, so if you're interested, please watch and see who your next council member will be for the next 11 months. And then the other thing I just want to note to people is that we're going to have our council goal setting session on Wednesday, February 25th, 5:30 to 8:30 in the Oak Room at the main library. Please come and share your ideas. This is how the council sets direction for the next year, and we really appreciate hearing from all of you. So thank you very much for your time. I'm going to open it for some questions and answers, and we have Alan with the microphone.
Yes, if you have any questions, because this is being recorded, I'd like you to come up to the microphone here and just state your question.
I don't know if everyone can hear me.
You have to be recorded audio. Unless you want me to repeat your question, and I will edit it. Okay, I just wanted to let you know.
I'm sure it would be a much more improvement to my question. Madam Mayor, really, it's a pleasure to be here. And my name is Tom Hayashi. I'm with the Peninsula Works. We just relocated our operations from Daly City down to San Mateo. And we're very eager to work with a number of businesses in the area to ensure that we have jobs for everyone who enjoy the community. So what I'm wondering about is how can an organization like ours really partner with the businesses, and how does that really support some of your vision for economic development?
I think the best way you can partner is by starting with our chamber. If you're not chamber members, get involved with the chamber and start a discussion with them. Making yourself known by getting out, maybe looking at the kind of businesses you think would be important for the people that come through the Worker Resource Center, working with the city staff to see what kind of opportunities might be out there. Let's see. I can't think of much else. I think the chamber is a great resource. The Downtown Merchants Association. There's also other nonprofits in the community that you could work with who are looking also for opportunities, and you might check with them and see how what they've done in terms of reaching out to the community. Come and talk to Rotary. Go to some of the service organizations and let them know what it is you need. You know, they're filled with business people who could probably give you ideas on how to help the people in your program get jobs.
Do we have any more questions? Is everyone bashful to get up to the mic? I'll bring you the mic if I really need to.
I must have covered everything. Wow.
Okay, well, you did a great job. This was wonderful.
Thank you so much for letting me talk to you this morning. I appreciate it.